Hello, what's up, everybody? So, I know recently, about a week ago, I made an update. It was more like an update and how I go about negativity towards my lifestyle, I would say. But I actually had gotten a message from somebody. Let's see if I could read it. From, I think his name's Scott. And I'm trying. Here we go. He had wrote me a message asking if I could pretty much make a video like I was talking to my mom about that, pretty much that trans people can still be happy and that it's just not something mentally wrong. Pretty much just I'm assuming an all over topic that if I was talking to my mom about me, I guess. Um, So I'm going to attempt my best to answer this, and I'm assuming that this is going to go out to people's moms, so um, or people in general. Uh, a transgendered person to me is somebody that was born one way, where people see them by their appearance, but that's not exactly how they feel in the inside. I was born a female. My birth name was Molly. Um, and it took me till about 18 years, until I was 18, to realize that the reason why I was so unhappy and how I just never got to experience happiness, true happiness, was because of something more greater than what I could even imagine. It wasn't something that I wanted. It wasn't necessarily something that I was ready for. I mean, it's a big decision, and I had no idea that there was an option to go out to find information that you could be a complete different gender than what you were born. I had no idea that there was an opportunity for me to do that. And finding out that I could, that there was a way to fix something for I could be happy. I took it. I didn't think about the consequences. I didn't think about a lot of things. Um, but I knew that in the end, no matter what it took or the steps it took or what I had to go through, that it was going to work out and that it's going to be okay because for once in my life, I'm going to be happy. And that's the biggest thing of all. And there's going to be judgmental people throughout the rest of my life. I'm going to run into a lot of people that aren't going to understand why I decided to do something like this, why I couldn't just be happy with what I had and just be grateful that I'm healthy and that I'm alive and that I don't have disabilities. But that wasn't the point. To me, I had disabilities. To me, I didn't have a life, and to me, life wasn't worth going on. Even though on the outside it may have not looked awful, it may not have looked like I had issues going on with me, but I did. I knew that in the end my happiness wasn't there because of something bigger. And it's not common, but I knew as soon as I knew that I could change my appearance to match how I felt really about myself, I knew that I would be happy. And my mom told me to my face that I would always be her daughter and that she would never call me male pronouns or Jason. She would never attempt to do any of that because I would always be her little girl. And I could never be a man. I didn't have a penis, so I would never be a man. And she's come a long way, but to this day, She only calls me her son. She introduces me to everybody as her son. And as soon as she got it, as soon as she realized that this is my kid, regardless of religion, beliefs, or what we were brought up to think or believe, all that just seems to go away when it's your own kid. You grew up watching them grow. You know your kid. You know them, and you know that they're not a bad person, regardless of what they are deciding to do. And it's not against you as a parent. It's not like we're doing this to go out of our way to upset you, to make your life harder, to make people judge your parenting skills. It has nothing to do with that. And if anything, if your kid does decide to do that, then you did the right job, because they're not afraid to be who they are, even though the world's against them. And even you might be against them, but they're still willing to go over that hard wall and go through it, because they know in the end that that's what's going to make them happy. And you brought up your child the best way you did. I mean, you should pat yourself on the back knowing that your kid is willing to get bullied, to get teased, and to have almost the world against them, just because they want to be able to put a smile on their face when they look at themselves. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world, and you have to do a lot of convincing, but it's a beautiful thing to see your kid be happy just by looking at themselves, to know that they have the inner strength to go on and to continue, and to not allow others to influence their life, because you want them to live you want them to live their life, and you want them to be happy at the end of the day, safe and happy. And that's what it's going to take. That's how it's going to have to go. My mom has come such a long way. I mean, if she sees me crying over anything negative, she's there to tell them that she's going to kick their asses for making their son cry. I love my mom. I love my mom when she told me I would never be her son, because she's my mom. Regardless of what she said or how she felt, it could never take away how she was my mom. And it's going to be the same way. No matter what they do, no matter what your kids want to be, they're still going to be your kids. And you're still going to love them. Even though it's going to be hard, because you feel like you're almost losing like your son, or I mean you're almost losing your daughter, I guess. And it's hard to let that person go. You feel like you're losing something in the end, but you're not, because they've always been there. And it was hard to see because of the appearance, but in the inside, you've always had that son. You've always had that person, and that person that you've seen grow up is still that same person to this day, or whatever they're choosing to do with their life. They're still that person. Their names change, and maybe their appearance obviously changes to more of a masculine appearance, but that's still your kid. They never leave. You know them better than they know themselves sometimes. And as soon as you're able to accept that you're not losing, you're gaining a son that wasn't ever able to be themselves, that they were constricted. And it's such a hard feeling waking up every day in a body you don't want. I mean, you get to wake up and you could put makeup on, you could straighten your hair. I mean, you could do things with your hair. You could get like different clothes that maybe make you have a nicer figure to make you feel good about yourself. But when you wake up in the wrong body every single day of your life, you know how hard it is to look at yourself ever. Ever. To know that you gotta go into the shower to clean parts that you don't want. That it's a constant burden and reminder that you'll never be who you want to be, because you get to wake up in a body that is almost foreign to you. that you go to touch places and they're not how they're supposed to feel. I mean, it's an awful feeling to have to wake up knowing that it's something that you can't just change. And you'll never feel complete. I mean, it's an awful feeling. And the best thing I could say for a parent that is going through this transition with their child, to be there for them, no matter what happens. To let them know that they're the beautifulest, they're the most handsomest, they're the biggest part of your life, and no matter what decisions they choose, that you're going to be by them, because at this point, they need somebody to let them know that it's going to get better. Because if you don't, they're going to fall, and you don't want your kid to fall for something that you know is the best choice for them. Because in the end, they're going to know what's the best choice for themselves. I couldn't have been more happy with my life at this point in my transition. I went from being shy to not giving a fuck to having no desire to live life to 4 years later, at this point in my life, all I want to do now is live. All I want to do now is to be a better person, to continue my journey in the most positivest way, to influence other people, and to let them know that it's also okay. At this point, it's not something mental, because if I was crazy, I mean, I would still be crazy and not happy. I smile every time I look at myself, because the person I see now is the person I've always seen. And it blows my mind, and it gives me so much joy to know that now anybody and everybody I meet from this point on gets to see me for the better person I've always seen myself, that was hiding because I was born in a different body. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to transition into the man I've always been, because now I get to experience life and have the most greatest opportunity. I mean, I am just I could not be more happier. I'm more caring and open, and I have so much more thrill and energy into wanting to pursue my dreams and happiness, because now life means so much more, because I centered it so much around the negative, and now I get to look at everything so much more better. It's in like light. I mean, I can't be more happy, and I would fight to live. Before, I would give up because I didn't see there was a reason to keep going. When you're so unhappy with yourself, why continue? And you don't want to see your kid do something stupid and end up in the hospital or dying because they felt like they could never get your approval on something, knowing that it was do or die to them. You wouldn't want to lose your kid knowing that they had an opportunity to grow and be a better person. So, I I hope this answered your question. But in the end, don't allow your parents to influence you on your on your judgment on life or what you decide to do with life. At the end of the day, it is just you and your life. You choose your path and the directions you need to lead. So don't let anybody influence you, and don't let anybody tell you who you need to be or who you are, because you are who you are, and you know that, and that is all that matters. People are going to judge you every day for the rest of your life, whether or not you decide to transition or you don't. People will judge you for wearing clothes a certain way. People judge you for the way you look, for the way you act. No one's perfect. But as soon as you start loving the imperfections, in your mind, you'll become more perfect. So, I hope this helped. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh my god. That was embarrassing. But I lost the stop button. I was like, where the fuck did it go? Well, excuse my language. Alright. Bye.